This is Dewayne.
I'm Andrew.
No, Dave.
No, Dave.
This is the Beer-Bourbon-Breakfast podcast.
Yep.
Back again.
Back again. We're one down.
Apparently Shady's back.
Yeah. Back again.
Did you see that corny-ass video?
Guess who's back? No. No. What video?
Apparently, I just stumbled upon it. You know, I'm not an Eminem fan particularly. But he's done a whole, like, Shady's back again video.
Again?
And it's like his two personas against each other, and Dre's in it, a couple other I don't know.
50.
Basically, he's saying he's going to start making fun of people again. Although I'm sure way more lighthearted now. But anyway,
yeah.
that's today's Eminem section of the podcast.
We're discussing hard things today. Hard topics.
Like Shady. Yeah, Shady's back again.
Like Eminem.
Guess who's back?
Yeah, it's one of those things. So where's Dave today? We're down.
Dave, his son had a Boy Scout event that he had to be involved in. His son is Spencer. His son is heavily into Boy Scouts. He's becoming a leader.
Okay, all right.
You know, so he's a good kid.
Cool.
Despite his dad, he's a good kid.
Man.
No. Dave will be missed, but we'll continue on without him.
He's still with us, but
oh no, yeah, he's not not RIP or anything.
No, we ain't pouring out some liquor for him, you know. It's one of those things. It's like
yeah. So, but it did bring up a good issue we discussed beforehand. Like when we know this is happening, we need to have a guest.
We
do need to figure out get some guests on hold and some backup host.
Let's get OJ.
So
no.
Well, you can. That's Harry Carey. What? He's dead. Let's try to get him anyway. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have said that. What, a few months ago? When did he die?
Has it been a couple months?
Probably so.
I don't know.
Producer Dave. Oh, what? Exactly 4 months ago?
Out of juice, you know.
They ran out of juice. Oh my God.
It was right there, man. It was right there. I had to go for it.
So what's new with you, man?
Man, other than, waking up late today, that was great. I don't ever oversleep.
This is not live. You didn't have to mention that, but since you did.
Since I did. I didn't sleep well last night and laid on the couch and woke up and did the Kevin from Home Alone, Kevin. I was like, oh my God. Looked at phone, bunch of missed calls from you guys, and so sorry about that.
We started to worry about you.
Yeah.
I started calling a welfare check with Belmont police, but
almost. We got the phone, then we got sidetracked. We started talking about funny stuff.
Yeah.
Like Eminem.
No big deal. It's like I said, it's not a live podcast. If it was live, I'd fire you.
Get out.
Cut your pay
off the air. Milk was a bad choice. But yeah. But yeah, other than that, hanging in there.
Good deal.
Yeah. So what we got this morning?
Well, we're gonna have a beer. We're gonna have a bourbon. We're gonna have a breakfast.
All right.
Not in that order, as if anybody's listened up to this point realizes. Maybe we should have. Eventually, we'll just call this Triple B anyway. So really, you can say whatever you want to.
We're just going to Flavor Town,
Yeah.
In multiple ways.
Yeah. So, for breakfast this morning, we have I think it's pronounced Coria bagels.
I
can't see it any way to say it. Decoria, I believe.
I glanced at it one time and I was like, decorum. No, that's not it. That's not it.
So, bagel shop in Belmont, now in the historical downtown part of Belmont, not what most people consider downtown now.
Yeah.
Catawba River Road, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Across from everybody knows where the
Antique Mall.
Is, yeah, with the big boy out front.
Yeah. The Catawba Antique Mall, something like that.
Yeah. Used to be over there beside or inside of Astia's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they've since gotten their own location. So me and Brittany have had it a few times. It's always been pretty good. And since you were late,
God.
me and Dave already dug into ours, and they were. Mine was good. How was yours, Dave?
It's great. I'm still eating it right now. Delicious, delicious.
It goes well with a Liquid Death agave tea.
Ah. Ooh.
Anybody wants to Liquid Death wants to sponsor the podcast?
Shout out to Liquid Death. I'm going to sample mine because, I'm just getting here because I'm a jackass.
I'd say yours is by far the prettiest.
Ooh, that is nice.
So I got a Asiago egg. So Asiago bagel with egg, cheese, and Taylor ham.
Mmm.
Now, I would imagine a lot of our listeners, being that they're going to be from this area, from the South, don't know what the hell Taylor ham is. Best description I can give you is it is bologna and Spam had a baby, and they called it Taylor. We have a friend of ours that was from Jersey. So this is like a Jersey staple, apparently. Mostly a breakfast food. But we have a couple friends that are from Jersey that always talked about it, and it didn't ever sound that good to me. I love Spam and I love bologna, so I don't really know. Obviously, bologna shirt. We'll discuss that. That can be at the end.
Outro. Yep.
Outro.
Yeah.
Replace Harry Carey. Anyway. There's a cheese shop in Southport where we were living at the time that has had Taylor ham bagels, and I've since fell in love with them. Not as good as bacon, probably on par with sausage. Not Niece's. That's just a different ballgame.
All right.
I mean, like restaurant sausage.
Thanks for clarifying.
But yeah, it's the bagel itself is delicious. The egg and cheese are perfect. The ham, I could use a little more meat on there, but who couldn't? But yeah, it was absolutely delicious.
Nice. The Spam and bologna, I feel like they're kind of the same thing, but one just has way more salt content.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten raw Spam? You would say no, that's not the same thing.
Oh, yeah, the texture, the consistency is.
Yeah. Now, once you fry it, generally they're about the same consistency. So.
I tell you what, a fried bologna biscuit or sandwich, crunchy, almost burn it.
Yeah.
Damn.
You gotta put the slices on the edge, so
it doesn't taste the same if
you
you
don't. Into a bowl. So, Dave, what did you get?
Every time I put something in my mouth, you talk to me.
It's intentional.
When the waitress comes, how's the food?
I got the Bagelicious, which is just ham, egg, and cheese on a sesame bagel for me.
Hold on, city ham.
Yeah, just like it's not your fancy ham.
Mm-mm.
That is a term that I've just in the past 10 years noticed. Like
fancy ham?
No, city ham. Like I've literally seen it on menus so that you don't get it confused with country ham, or ham like sandwich, like deli ham, I guess. So there's deli ham, there's city ham, and there's country ham. I guess city ham would be like your honey baked type,
more refined.
Yeah, there you go, more refined. Yeah,
not as rough around the edges.
Not as rough around the edges. It's honeyed around the edges.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
Like I said, it's just something probably in the past 10 years I've seen.
City ham. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I need to pay more attention.
And it's good because like Brittany, she loves she'll eat country ham, loves country ham biscuits stuff, but she's not a fan of city ham.
I mean, besides like a honey baked ham, I mean, who's just sitting at home eating
ham?
Just ham? Slices of ham.
Who wants ham? You want ham sandwich?
I mean, so many inside jokes.
All right, what you got there?
I've got the New Yorker, which is a bacon, egg, and cheese. That's one word.
Bacon, egg, cheese.
Yep. Although
BEC.
Yeah. On an everything bagel, it's delicious. The it did say that it was going to come with ketchup.
Ugh.
I don't detect ketchup.
I don't think that's a good thing.
I mean, it's a New
Was
New
it-
Yorker thing.
Oh, do New Yorkers put ketchup on their bagels?
Well, they like on top of like the egg, and then
I don't know. Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe.
All right.
Hey, I'm not from New York. If you're from New York, reach out to us. Let us know. Do you
Yeah.
put ketchup on a bagel, on an egg, whatever the hell,
I
on
mean-
eggs? That doesn't sound good to me at all.
Well, it's like in Chicago, they say that if you put ketchup on a hot dog, that's like sacrilegious. But then they put tomatoes.
I don't do it,
like
but-
sliced tomatoes.
Yeah, they put pickles and all kinds. They
That's-
put is it relish that they put on their hot dogs?
I think so. I'd smother myself in relish.
That's disgusting.
That'd be delicious.
Hey. Of course, well, there you go. There's the proof.
I
Harry
mean-
Carey put well, at least Will Ferrell's Harry Carey.
It's delicious though.
Yeah, I would say I don't know. I don't know of any other bagel shops in the area. I mean, I imagine there's plenty in Charlotte. I don't know of any in Gaston County. Somebody correct us on that. But just a place that just does bagels. And I think they're open for lunch. I think they do some other things, but pretty much they're known for their bagels. And is it the best bagel I've ever had? Probably not, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's solid. It's solid.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
A thumb and a half.
Well, we were rating donuts. Are we going to rate bagels?
I mean,
We could do next week or next podcast. We do. The bagels are back at McDonald's.
oof.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll do that next. We'll rate them at that point. We'll say the Coria's is this versus McDonald's is this.
Gotcha.
Because you could say this is a 9, and then you eat the McDonald's bagel. It can make this a 7, which I doubt, or it can make this a 10, which is more likely.
Yeah. When's the last time you ate something at McDonald's and were like, you know what, that was a good idea?
I mean, dude, I don't hate on McDonald's.
No,
Like,
I don't either.
there's certain things I hate on McDonald's, but like double quarter pounder
No,
and
I'm
some fries.
it's delicious, but I'm just saying, like afterwards.
Oh, well, yeah. You next day at least
you're just like, oh, milk was a bad
especially
choice.
considering you're typically eating it at like 2:00 in the morning. But
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
Anyway.
it's one of those things. Delicious. Yes, thank you for that, Dwayne.
yeah, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Glad you liked it.
Yeah,
That was a Brittany decision.
that was a good decision, Brittany.
Yeah.
Got to let me quench. Let me
Liquid death.
kill
Without
my
water.
kill my thirst here.
Straight from the mountains. Water. All right. Well, I think we're on to the beer section.
Let's do it.
So
Thirsty.
go pour beer.
Yeah.
We all have mugs of delicious Czech Pilsner. I'd say almost perfectly poured.
Yeah.
Mine's better than yours. That was intentional.
Mine's better.
All right. Today's beer, we might spend more than 15 minutes on this one,
Okay. Let's do it.
is Pilsner Urquell.
Okay.
A Czech Pilsner, or you could say a pale lager. Is also a term
Okay.
that's originally was probably used. In fact, it is the world's first pale lager. So
I'm trying to wrap my head around pale lager.
think pale ale, but lagered. Using lager yeast. Just a different way of fermenting the beer. I got a few notes here we'll kind of go over.
Some notes.
And obviously, Czech Pilsner, it's brewed in the Czech Republic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At one point, Czechoslovakia.
Ooh.
Not anymore. but it's using a Pilsen malt, which is a German type malt. It uses Saz, I believe. I'm probably saying that wrong. These hops names kill me, but Saz and Noble hops, which Noble hops is a pretty prominent hop in that part of the world, especially Germany. Is originated in 1842 by a brewer Joseph Groll. And like I said,
Joseph.
first golden Pilsner lager. You know, this is one of those beers, I think you've seen it. If you've spent any time in any kind of pub, be it English, Irish, some sort of German, you've seen this beer. You've probably had it poured in a basic pint glass, probably no head, and it's flat as shit. And, you know, and maybe didn't even like it. Or the other way is you've had it in a bottle.
Yeah.
In a green bottle, which is
horrible
for, in particular, European beers in America because it has it's in a bottle. It's in essentially a clear bottle.
Yeah.
You know, it's green, tinted. Then it's shipped over on a container, spends God knows how much time on the container. Then probably not properly stored in a warehouse here.
Yep.
And then God knows how the bars store it and how old it is. So anyway, you probably opened up a bottle of this at some point in your life and been like, okay, that's skunky as shit.
Yeah.
Luckily, and as far as I can tell, at least in this area, we are, for the first time in a while, able to get it in kegs.
Okay.
So, still not the fresh, you know, of course, it's not going to be as fresh as drinking it in the Czech Republic or in Europe. But best way for at least to travel this way.
You didn't overnight this?
I flew to Czech Republic and bought it.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
The things I do for this podcast.
We're all about quality here.
It's a good thing I'm getting paid a lot of money to do this.
At Triple B.
Here at Triple B. You know, in general, Czech lagers, Czech pilsners, a little more flavor forward, especially than American lagers. You can see, I mean, it's a little darker than your typical American adjunct lager. A little more hop forward, which makes it hoppy, really makes it bitter. You get more of the notes of the hops, slight sweetness.
That's crushable.
Crushable, yet still a lot of flavor there.
Yeah.
This beer, listen, you can pour this beer however you want to, but it's intended to be poured a special way. Dave, insert video.
Already done.
Magically got done. Using what they call a side pull faucet. The one we have is from a company called Urquell, which I think they're about the only ones that make a legit side pull. And they may have had, I'd have to really delve deep into this. They may have kind of invented it. Pilsner and Urquell are the ones that originated it, maybe invented it. Urquell are probably the ones that invented it for mass production or commercial use or whatever. But basically, a side pull allows you to control the flow of beer. It allows you to control the head of the beer, which, you know, everybody has a different opinion on it. Some people like a good amount of head on their beer. Some people don't like any head because it's wasting. They look like, well, if it's head, it's not beer, and it's wasting beer. Every beer should have some amount of head to it. If not, that means it's either flat or it wasn't poured properly, or it's just going to taste like garbage. This beer in particular should have a good amount of head. Now, we even here at 115 Craft, 115 Main Street, McAdenville, North Carolina.
Shout out.
We have a Urquell side pull that you'll see in this video, or you probably saw at this point. And if you notice, it's not just full on pour. There's a technique to it, which obviously I haven't mastered, but I'm getting better at it. And you're actually it goes against a lot of what you're taught, but you actually put the tap itself, the faucet, in the beer as you pour it. And you're starting out with nothing but head, and you're creating, depending on the situation, and we'll talk about that in a second, creating about a good inch of head and then liquid. And what happens there is that, first of all, that creates a foamy, creamy head, not this airy, bubbly thing that you're used to in most beers. Think like Guinness. Like if you've ever poured a Guinness or a nitro beer and you drink it almost immediately, it's really creamy.
Yeah.
Um,
Velvety.
very
mouthfeel.
similar to that. In fact, the side pull faucet is set up very similar, just no nitro. A Guinness is poured with nitro. This particular beer is poured with CO2. Ours is with a little bit of nitrogen blend, but that's something for another time. I could really nerd out on this stuff, but so you create that head, and what that does is that basically protects the beer, keeps it carbonated, keeps out oxidation. So many times you drink, if you pour yourself a typical American lager, by the time you get down to the end of it, it is undrinkable. You're just putting it down because you paid for it.
You paid for it, yeah.
Hopefully with this, and you shouldn't take that long to drink a beer anyway. But anyway, hopefully with doing something like that, even as it warms up, it's still got the flavor. It's not going bad. It's not losing or it's not oxidizing or anything like that. I mean, oxidation is the worst thing you can do to a beer. But also that allows you. There are things called a milk pour. That would be the English term. There is a German, Czech, European terms. I don't remember them right off the top of my head, but basically it allows you to pour a whole glass of foam, which sounds asinine. But over there, because it is so creamy, it's not like a foam from a Budweiser. It's foam from a very good high quality beer, and it's a sweetness and a bitterness to it that actually makes it a good after dinner digestive. So you're drinking, you're eating, whatever, and you're like, oh God, I'm just feeling kind of full. You drink a glass of that foam, it kind of helps clear things up.
Okay. Mix that with an
yeah.
Underberg.
Underberg. We're gonna do Underberg on here one day. yeah, we'll do that. That'll be a bonus feature.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it all, at the end of the day, I mean, since we've gotten this thing, I've had a few people that I trust their opinion on beer, and I've done like a couple of different pours. You can do a milk pour, which is all foam. You can do, and all these have terms that I just don't know, but you can do one that's half foam, half beer, but in general, the way we pour it here and the way it's meant to be poured as just an everyday drinker, these are 19-ounce glasses.
Yeah.
A pint, at least in America, is 16 ounces.
No.
So you get about 16 ounces of beer, and the rest will be foam.
Gotcha.
That's the proper way to pour it. And there's more to it. There's a way you hold the glass, and like I said, the actual tap goes into the beer, it pours from the bottom up. There's a lot to it. There's a little filter in there that makes it aerates it a little bit to make it foamy. There's a whole lot of, we could talk hours on this. In fact, there's a video, I watched part of it the other day on YouTube, where the Treehouse, the people at Treehouse, which, they're known for hazy IPAs, but they do really good lagers. They've got a few of those side pull faucets, and they were using them, and didn't think they were using them right. So they went to the Czech Republic, like a bunch of like the employees, and took a 3-day course on how to use and maintain and just all the ins and outs of using that faucet.
3 days?
3 days. They poured some astronomical amount of beer.
Jesus.
It was like this, like 8 kegs, like 8 half barrels of beer or something. And they didn't drink all of it. It was just them practicing. And knowing how much one of those cost and knowing how much I paid for it, they should send me to the Czech Republic for free to learn how to use it. But
take a 3-day course.
I think in general it creates, listen, a lot of it is probably presentation and stuff like that.
Well, sure.
And-
Yeah.
But I think overall, especially if you have a more refined palate, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about it. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think we're the only only bar in Gaston County that has one of those faucets. There's only a couple of places in Charlotte that have it, Salud being one of them.
Yeah.
And you can pour any beer you want to off of it. This is the traditional. These are the OGs. These are the ones that started the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're pretty happy to have that. We might even keep that on semi-permanently, if that's a term.
It's delicious.
But I do enjoy. We've done a couple of dark Czech lagers off of it, and it is almost like pouring a large espresso.
Ooh,
it is delicious. We've done Divine Barrels. Man, I cannot remember who else, but yeah, even doing that, there's a couple of breweries that I've seen. We haven't tried it yet. They've done Kolsch.
Yeah.
That is not traditional.
No.
But like I say, you do it. Yeah, we can do IPA on it. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want to do with it. But yeah, it's cool. Like I said, I think it helps the beer. Come into 115 Craft and try for yourself.
Shout out.
I promise this is not just meant to be a commercial for my tap room.
We should pour some Cantillon through it just to see.
Well, if you can get a keg of Cantillon, I will happily do that for you. By the way, this is a traditional Czech glass. So, we're trying to be as legit as possible. The only difference is, and I just found this out from watching that video.
Okay.
They store their glasses in ice water. Not in a freezer, not in a refrigerator, but in ice water. I'm not doing that.
That's weird.
Yeah, we don't have the room for that. And that goes down a path of like, why don't I have a frosted mug?
Yeah.
And we're not doing that. So
that opens up a whole nother can of worms for a lot of different things.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's beer nerd stuff. It's
It's delicious.
Especially the way the craft quote unquote craft beer scene is going. Lagers are really becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And they've always been a thing, but like they're taking over. I mean, I think even us, we typically kept 4 hazy New England style IPAs on tap. We've gone down to 3. We now have 4 lager taps. This being one of them. Number 2 being the Leisure Time Lager that we always have on tap. That's our PBR. That's our Budweiser.
Yep.
And number 3 is we're probably going to eventually dedicate that to a German beer. There's a huge variety there. So just any Pauliner or Hockershore or stuff like that
That'd be awesome.
Especially like around October, September, it'd be a Marzen.
So good.
Oktoberfest stuff. And then number 4 will be probably dedicated to a local brewery that specializes in lagers, a.k.a. Keepsake.
I was just about to say.
No, I wouldn't say exclusively. But I would say that's done really well for us. And shout out to those guys. We'll definitely have probably the next podcast.
Okay.
We'll sample their beers.
Okay.
We might do, because right now, like I've got their dark lager, Schwarzbier, and their new Hefeweizen they just put out, a wheat beer. I almost did those today, but I think we'll do that next time.
Yeah. Those guys are producing some amazing quality stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of piggyback on the whole popularity of lagers. I mean, now you have like Resident Culture. They have a lager fest. With Keepsake basically specializing in that style, or at least that area of beers. I think it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a smart move too. I mean, business wise, Bobby over there, the owner, head brewer, he's the only brewer. He's head brewer and assistant brewer. He's studied in Germany. He worked for Resident Culture. He's got that background, and I think he's doing an excellent job. The beer, so many breweries when they first open are inconsistent, and it's justifiable.
Oh yeah.
Most of them pick it up after a year or so, but he's just hitting it out of the park from day one.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have his beer on tap. I've been seeing it pop up a lot of places. Keepsake Brewing out of Gastonia.
Really
Look
cool
for
spot.
it, even if you're not here. I know Salud's been having it. They even had it on their side pour that they have.
Very cool.
We've done that a little bit too.
They haven't picked up they're still way too small and way too new to pick up like a distributor or anything like that, right?
I would, even if they got bigger, I don't know that I would ever see that happening.
Gotcha. That's cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Future. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
But right now, he brews the beer and brings it to you.
Nice.
So,
familiar face.
Yeah. So check out Keepsake. Really cool place, really good beer, great people. So happy to promote those guys. So what do you think? What's y'all's thoughts on this beer?
I think it's delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of flavor there, but I mean, it's easily crushable, very, very drinkable. Just a great, approachable beer.
Dave is a dark beer drinker, typically.
It's the hops are a little assertive, but in a good way, not too much so, which is nice. I don't mind a hop. I don't mind a beer that's got some hops, but this is drinkable, sippable. I mean, I'm like down to my last little sip here, so
Little sips.
yeah, I quite like it.
Well, good. Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen a trend with some breweries. Trend might be a big word for it, but you've definitely seen some breweries have gone to IPLs, India Pale Lagers.
Yeah.
Which is just a Czech
Yeah.
lager, Pilsner, is all it is. But because people here don't necessarily know that term, I think it's easier, especially if you're an IPA drinker, to be like, oh, well, it's just a lagered IPA.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And there are more differences than that. But, to the general public, it's not a huge difference, I think, and we've seen it too since we've carried it. I mean, we've had it for about a week now. We've already gone through 2 kegs. Even your IPA drinkers enjoy it. So,
I mean, it's a nice. I kind of think about Oktoberfest in Germany. Like you drink Ramblers in between beers just to kind of cleanse your palate.
Rattlers,
Ramblers, yeah, Radlers.
Ramble on.
That's the American term. When you drink too many, you just
Stiegel Radlers. Oh, that's Austrian, but still. It's I mean, that's an in between thing.
Yep.
But like that being in between thing, the all foam deal, the milk pour, that's an after drink, after dinner type deal. So
I'll start doing that.
Yeah, I've done a few of them for people, and they seem to enjoy them. And typically too, if you do that, you don't charge a beer price.
Yeah.
A full beer. You charge I don't remember how much this beer is. The menu's not up there, but I want to say it's $5. Please, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. If I was to do we don't have it on the menu. I need to probably add that. If I was to do a milk pour, it's number 1, Dave. 16 ounce. Oh, wrong menu. That's the wine menu. It's not going to be on there. It doesn't matter. I would probably charge like $2.50.
Yeah.
Because you can get the milk pour, let it sit, and it turns into beer.
Yeah.
It goes flat.
Yeah.
But to each their own. So,
anyway,
that's Pilsner Urquell. The brewery itself has a very complicated, not long, but I can't pronounce it. So we're just going to call it Pilsner Urquell. Czech lager, Czech Pils, and just a caveat, and I will say this probably 100 times on this podcast. There's only 2 types of beer. There's a lager, there's an ale. Everything else springs from that.
Yeah.
So when I say Pilsner, lager is somewhat interchangeable.
All right.
So
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Come on, man. Get with the program. No, I'm kidding. You should always caveat that all bourbons are whiskey, but not all whiskeys are bourbons. It's a little bit of the same, not really, but
They're close cousins. Ish.
Kissing cousins.
Yeah.
All right,
KC,
so
right
you want to move on to the bourbon?
Let's
your section of podcast.
Yeah, let me.
Because if you let me, I'll just keep going on about this. So
had to polish that off real quick. Let me bring up my notes here, and then I'll start pouring some. So, sorry, I had to. Sorry, I missed that one.
Oh, that's a good sound. I like it. Well, now you need to.
Oh, there we go. That was a good one.
That last one sounded like a struggle. Oh man,
that's
people are not gonna think that's real if they're not watching the video.
That's some ASMR. Whatever. What is that stuff?
Yeah.
I still don't understand that at all. But.
I did not really grasp it until I started watching. Recently, I've gotten somewhat into mountain biking and just bikes in general, and there are ASMR bike videos where they like build bikes, and it's just nobody talks. There's no word, no
that's
closed caption or nothing like that. It's just it's just
that's weird,
and it is very.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I decided to go with an old favorite here, an old trusted favorite, but this one's a little bit unique because this is a single barrel select from Lake Wylie Liquors, our friends down there. So they did a barrel pick from Buffalo Trace, and luckily I was able to get 2 bottles. So yeah. So, barrel select is when you actually go to the distillery and you try a bunch of barrels and you pick out what you think is the best one. Because, as we know, all the different barrels are going to have different flavor profiles, being at, where they are situated in terms of the
rick house.
Of the rick house, their placement in the rick house. If they're near the top, more near the middle. Each one is going to have a different flavor characteristic. So they went to Frankfort, Kentucky, and did one of their barrel picks. And so it's an old friend, but it's a little different friend.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of deals.
I definitely tell a difference.
So a little bit of history about Buffalo Trace. Frankfort, Kentucky. We've been there before. It is a magical place. Really, really cool. Tons of history. Definitely no secret here. I am a huge fan of Buffalo Trace products, not only for their staple, but their Weller series, their Stags, all of that. I think they're probably one of my favorites, just in terms of their portfolio and good thing about Buffalo Trace is they've just added it was like a $20 million.
Well, we were there when they were probably even midway through construction, and it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
It was huge.
And I think I'm actually underestimating the dollar amount. I mean, it was going to be a huge new addition. So this right now in North Carolina and South Carolina is an allocated bottle. Hopefully that changes things.
You're saying, so this particular bottle you can only get at Liquor by the Lake.
Well, you can't get it anymore. So once that barrel pick was done, it was done.
Yeah. But you never could have found this in North Carolina.
No.
Or any other shop, period.
No.
Okay.
So it was only Lake Wylie Liquors, so very, very cool.
That's not necessarily the case in North Carolina, I believe.
So I think that counties can do barrel picks. But I don't know how that works with.
So let's say, and we're getting ready to get our liquor license here. And let's say I did a barrel pick.
Yeah.
And somebody step in that knows more than me because of our government-run system. And I say this because Rob did.
Oh yeah, he did a
Old Scout.
Yep.
Old Scout barrel pick for Paul's of OKI.
Yep.
and it had to be sold at the liquor store. See, I literally went in and bought a bottle of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I do remember that now.
He could have went in when it all got put on the shelf and bought all of it,
Yeah.
but just he could avoid anybody else getting that just on that. But in general, that's not the way it works. Like, well, even
So it was only sold at only at the Southport, or just
Oak Island, but so that might have. But I think Southport could have picked it up if they wanted to. I think generally, if it's available, even if you said Asheville, ABC store in Asheville knew about it, they're like, "Oh, we want some of that." You know, I don't know. The inner workings of ABC are complicated, but
it's weird.
But at the very least, yes. I mean, like I said, because I couldn't buy a bottle from him. He could only serve it by the glass or by the drink, so I had to go buy.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyway, I just and I think South Carolina it might be a little bit different because it's a privatized system that you're only going to get that liquor by the lake. So that I make that point to say like that's pretty cool. Like that's the only place you're going to get it.
Oh yeah.
And I can tell you just from a few sips, this is
it's a
pretty
very
different than regular Trace.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I really love barrel selects. I've had some really, really good barrel selects that I'm like, oh my God, like I don't even like this product and this is amazing. And I've had some, they're just like, oh, no, yeah. It's I bought a bottle of a Yellowstone store pick that I thought it was like, this is the most expensive bottle of Fireball that I've ever bought.
Don't name the store.
It was terrible. God,
well, it's I mean, that's the good and the bad thing about bourbon is like you're leaving it to individuals' taste.
Yep.
And that is literally, maybe not individuals, but like the owner of the shop and the manager, and they all decided let's do this. And there's no blending involved. So
it's
Buffalo Trace you buy on the shelf is a blend of many barrels.
Yeah.
To try to get a consistent product.
So with this being a barrel select and a small batch, it is basically confined to 40 barrels per batch, right? So this is mash bill 1. Excuse me. So mash bill 1 shares. So this is unique with bourbon. So mash bill 1 is thought to be like Elmer T. Lee, Eagle Rare, some of the Taylors. Things like that. So it starts out the same way, but it depends on where it's located or what rick house it's in, and also how long it's aged for, right? So that's I think pretty unique, and that's why like Stag Junior is so much darker in color compared to this because it's aged longer. Right, so it's got more time in that barrel, much more interaction time there. So, So a little bit more about. So Buffalo Traces actually was bought by the Sazerac Company, down in, or actually back in the early '90s. So Sazerac has the Sazerac House in New Orleans. It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
You can go down there and it's like a Buffalo Trace in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But yeah. So this is
it's way sweeter.
It's super smooth. You don't get that Kentucky hug that some of the higher proofs do.
What is the proof on that?
Yeah, I think it's like 90 proof or something like that. So it's thought that the mash bill 1 is speculation. Again, they think it's 75% corn, 10% rye, and then 15% barley. So pretty low rye count. So that's where you don't get the spicy. It's an easy approachable. This would be a good.
This is the hazy IPA of IPAs.
It's a gateway bourbon.
It is. But I tell you too, to me, it's a good. This is. I want to advocate, everybody doing this. This is a good bourbon to drink in the morning.
I mean,
it's still technically morning time for us. And sometimes, man, I'm a rye drinker,
yeah.
but I don't know about drinking a straight rye, 118 proof rye at 10 o'clock in the morning might not be a smart idea.
Man, whatever you got to do to get rid of the shakes.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. No, but this is, you pour a little bit of this in some coffee,
Yeah.
go yard selling.
100%. 100%.
There's nothing like drinking bourbon on some stranger's yard, haggling over, I don't know, tire pricing at 10 a.m. on a Saturday,
I already feel half drunk.
It's for the kids.
Whoa. What yard sale are you going at 10 a.m.? Ain't nothing left.
Look, I didn't say that I was.
If you ain't haggling in the dark, you ain't haggling.
Then again, if you're drinking bourbon at 10 a.m., you're probably not waking up at 4 a.m.
Well, if you're drinking at 5 a.m., you're just keeping the night going.
I mean,
so what about liquor at the lake? I mean, I think anybody around here that even has anything to do with bourbon knows about liquor at the lake.
So liquor at the lake, and Lake Wylie Liquor, they're right down the road from each other. I love liquor at the lake for so many reasons.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry, I was confused. This is Lake Wylie Liquor, the one up the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
apologize to Liquor by the Lake. They're awesome too, though.
They are. So Lake Wylie Liquor is they're adjacent to a BP gas station. Right?
Adjacent? They in the damn gas station.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
sort of.
You can't walk through
You can't get a slushie and then go in there and get a bottle of Trace and pour it in the slushie.
Oh man. Okay. All right. We need to work on this Cheerwine bourbon slushie.
That's a good leeway into what we were.
All
right.
Why would we need to work on that, Dewayne?
So 115 Craft is in the middle of, or maybe on the back end of, trying to get our liquor license from the state of North Carolina. We obviously have our beer license and our wine license. Liquor license is the next step. It's basically starting the whole process over again. So it's taking a little bit of while, a little inspections, plus we had a lot going on. So we finally got pretty much got everything finalized. So now the next step is to send it to ABC board in North Carolina.
Yeah.
At that point, God only knows.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything is right. They might find some things here and there. Most of it is pretty easy to fix. And, it could be
6 weeks, could be 6 months.
Could be 6 years. I don't know.
We are talking about the government.
But I feel like I'm hoping by the end of this month to have a liquor license.
Sweet.
So we're going to start off pretty simple.
Yeah.
And probably stay pretty simple.
Okay.
Mostly we're going to focus on bourbon.
Okay.
We hope to have maybe I'd say average around a dozen bourbons, rye, whiskey.
Yeah.
We will have probably a vodka, tequila. Thinking carrying rum from a couple, mostly Muddy River Distillery, carrying their rums. We will try to do local stuff. Slim pickings as far as whiskey goes, bourbon goes in North Carolina.
Yeah.
But there are some good ones out there.
Yeah.
So try to do that. Same, that's the way we are with beer and even a little bit with wine. We try to, especially beer, but try to really focus on North Carolina. But, whiskey and liquor, we're going to do the same thing, especially with the rum products and the vodka and gin.
Sweet.
We really want to care. We got some really good gin in the state.
Yeah.
I guess Pine Trees. I'm not a gin drinker, so sorry if that offends anyone. But one of the things that we're really excited about, at least starting off, is we really want to do a Cheerwine slushie.
God,
with bourbon, Cheerwine and bourbon slushie.
So good.
So we'll hoping to have that rolling pretty quickly. And old fashioned will be our first cocktail. It'll probably be our house cocktail, like just moving forward. We just found some local bitters that we're going to try to use.
Nice.
You'll be involved in that.
Research
and development.
I like to stay actively involved for the community.
We'll call it my research team.
Research purposes. Yeah.
But then I don't know that you're ever going to walk in here and ask for some crazy off the wall drink, and we're going to make it for you. And there's going to be flipping bottles and like it's a cocktail. And Tom Cruise isn't going to be working here.
Well, he couldn't see over the bar. I mean, so
it did make it a little too high.
yeah.
But I think a gin and two ingredient recipes. Try to be gin and tonic.
Keep it simple.
We have a really good Bloody Mary mix that we get from Southport, home, handmade locally from there that we're going to use for Bloody Marys. We're going to get probably like pre-batch cocktail stuff.
I was just about to ask
Try to keep it simple. Like at the end of the day, we're a craft beer and wine bar, and that's our focus. I don't really want to take away from that. I just want to add to it.
Yeah.
So,
Sprinkle some tussin on
it. Yeah. Put tussin on it. But our old fashioned will probably be the most complicated thing we make, and even that we're going to try to get down to science. But no, we're pretty excited, and it opens up some opportunities. And hey, it doesn't work. We move on. No big deal. No harm, no foul.
I mean, it's bourbon. How could it not work?
Yeah, I think we're. Yeah, I think it's going to work out good.
It'd be cool to have some like end of days stuff too.
Well, the gin is what we're going to try to get. So
such a cool spot.
But they have bourbon. They do a 5-year, I think.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
So when we were down there, I think it was still resting.
Yeah. Still, they were only open like 2 years at that point. So
I was sleeping.
There's old Nick Williams out of Louisville. Is great.
Yeah.
Oh man, and Winston. There's a one in Broad Branch.
Well, also there is a new one in Southern Pines that we've got we need to
take a trip out there.
Yeah. The
podcast trip.
The Brad Halling Whiskey Co. Which they're doing some amazing stuff. Really cool spot.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're going to try to really have like what people want. The Traces, the Blantons, the Eagle Rares, the
25-year Pappies.
E.H. Taylor. Hey, if I can get a Pappy, you better believe it's going to be on there. And, I'm not going to.
If a local buffet can get Pappy.
True.
We won't name names, but.
We ate there a couple weeks ago.
Recently.
Well, there's a very good chance that will happen someday.
I mean.
Right off the bat, no.
You
got to build up a reputation. You got to get to know people. But
Julian Van Winkle's going to personally.
We're lucky that our ABC, North Carolina, you are provided by your local ABC suppliers and or stores, and luckily the two are Cramerton. So there's some of the best ABC stores. For bourbon.
Yeah.
In the area. So
they've got a great selection.
Yeah, so we're pretty lucky on that. So there's a very good chance that'll happen someday.
Nice.
And we're going to try to price everything appropriately. I'm not going to have, I don't ever see a day where we're going to have $100 for an ounce and a half pour. I mean,
Buffalo Trace.
If that's what it costs, that's what it costs. That would be $1,000 bottle. So I don't see me buying that.
The rent is too damn high.
Yeah. So look for that to happen. We'll post it on social media and stuff, and
that's super exciting.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. It's, a new move for us. We've never dealt with it before at either place. So you've definitely got me into bourbon more in recent years. So
very nice.
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
New and exciting.
So exciting.
So yeah. All right. Well, cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. That was really good.
Yeah.
That's probably been the best one so far.
Glad you guys liked it. Dave, I know that you're just getting your toes in the bourbon waters, the brown waters of bourbon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was your thoughts there?
Oh, it's good. Yeah. I've been maybe a couple of years trying to get into bourbon. And Buffalo Trace was always sort of a hard to find. I was never going to make it when it was, they got some at this place or whatever. I was never going to get it.
Yeah.
I actually went on a cruise recently, and they were like, I ordered a old fashioned. They were like, "Is Buffalo Trace okay?" I was like, "Is it okay?" Yeah, I never get it, so it's like it might as well be Pappy to me because I never get it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is really smooth and sweet, and there is a noticeable difference, and it's really interesting just hearing you guys talk about it and the little bit of research that I've done. Yeah, how all these different aspects, position, vertically and horizontally in the rick house, like how all of this stuff factors in, and like you say, they're normally they're sampling a bunch and building a blend that represents their flavor. But yeah, being able to pick one out of that, I like this in particular, and put your name on it essentially is really cool.
It's pretty special, and so yeah, they have their own little unique little sticker there that says it's a single barrel select.
You can do that as an individual.
I mean,
it's a little more difficult in North Carolina. In fact, might be impossible. So to our South Carolina listeners, maybe whatever, but I don't know. I'd have to, we talked about it when we went to Buffalo Trace, but they talked to us as if we were in a state that allowed that sort of thing. So, I mean, it was very expensive.
Well, let's just get some buddies together,
Yeah.
Hey, how many bottles you down for?
I need to find somebody that lives in a really, when it comes to ABC laws, somebody that lives in a more liberal state. And it's like, yeah, buy a barrel. Who gives a shit? Put a straw in it and drink it.
So if any of our listeners, all three of you, if you live in those states,
the Triple B Army.
we need T-shirts. Or no, I feel like we need headbands there. Triple B Army. We're heading into Flavor Town.
Nah, it'd be bulletproof vest.
It's the weighted tactical vest.
I think we're starting to create
a
more of a Proud Boys vibe here.
Well,
Let's get away from that.
No.
The Trulies in it.
The 8% Trulies.
Oh wait, do they drink Trulies or?
I think they just drink like Jack Daniels or black.
No, that's too manly. What are you, crazy?
No,
literally, that's the
true.
thing. Like they have the vest, and they always had a White Claw. It's always had a White Claw in it. Like
ain't no laws.
you're trying to be like the most masculine thing, but you have a seltzer.
I mean,
that most women won't even drink.
I like the bubbles.
Anyway, that's a whole. We'll dedicate a podcast to that.
They tickle my nose. But yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, bourbon is so like the things that come out of that world are just.
Yeah.
And it feels like growing up and even as I got into drinking age, bourbon was so one dimensional.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's now you realize it's such a. And it's changed over the years, or it actually hasn't changed. It's gotten back to where it used to be.
Yeah, I wish the bourbon. I mean, I love that there's a huge push for bourbon products now. The bourbon game. I mean, it's like, oh well, whatever store has this, and then you get there 4 minutes later, and it's all sold out.
Yeah,
it's like the bourbon craze.
It's frustrating, but overall, it is fun, and it creates a community. And
the hunting process is great.
Yeah, I had a guy yesterday. We were talking bourbon, and we got kind of deep into it. And he's just now getting into it. He was really young, and he's like, "You got a collection, don't you?" And my initial thought was, "No, come on." And I was like, "I have a collection of bourbon." I mean, I definitely have bottles I haven't opened, and. So
the thing I don't understand the collectors that will just you walk into a basement bar or whatever and it's just wall to wall bourbon and they're just like, oh yeah, I've got whatever you want, but I haven't opened any of it. Like I don't understand that collector.
Well, I'm at a point where I probably have I'd say half the bottles I have, which isn't a tremendous amount, I haven't opened.
Yeah,
but I'm also at the point where I'm like, I'm not going to buy anything else.
Yeah. No, true.
Unless it's just ridiculous, until I start popping some of these bottles.
Yeah, no. I'm saying like I've got a bunch of bourbon at home too, and I the same way. Like I typically have like 4 or 5 bottles open at a time. I'll go through those, but also I'm a drink it, don't collect it.
I helped you move the other day. Was that all your bourbon that we moved? You should be disappointed. That was only one box.
Well, that was a big ass box.
It was very big. It was heavy.
Yes.
Glad I didn't move it.
Shout out to Ben.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out to Ben's back.
Oof. Old man Ben.
Yeah.
Hey,
But,
that's a good guest, maybe.
Yeah. It'd be an entertaining one, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Well, maybe start wrapping things up here.
Yeah.
What else? We missing anything else? Producer Dave, are we?
Seems good to me.
Producer Dave, stamp of approval.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah.
No Harry Carey today.
No.
I think we need to maybe that needs to be like one every 5, and also it needs to be like Dave needs to be here. I feel like it's disrespectful to do it without Dave.
Yeah.
It's just disrespectful to Dave.
Gone but not forgotten. You know.
So any afterthoughts here? Any
Drink bourbon.
drink bourbon,
Drink beer.
drink beer. Come here and drink both eventually.
Eat good breakfast food. That's my my live,
Any
laugh, love.
suggestions on our next breakfast? I guess we maybe decide it was McDonald's.
Ooh.
Bagels from McDonald's. I mean, I guess I'll get you whatever you want, but I will probably do a bagel.
A bagel.
I've never had a bagel from McDonald's. A lot of people were super excited over it.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's that good.
I've never. I've only eaten maybe a handful of McGriddles in my day.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I've never been, like polished off a McGriddle and be like, you know what, that was a good idea. I feel good about that.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, oh God, what is that pain?
Trying to figure out how we'll do. We got to fit a Waffle House in here.
Oof.
Are we gonna do it at Waffle House? Do we try to make that happen?
I
I feel like if we did this in a Waffle House, they just like, yep, makes sense.
Baby, you want it smothered, covered, fried, whatever? I don't know.
I guess you can just get a platter to go. I mean, there's one right up the road. So hell, you can get it on the way here.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, let's do it. All
All
right.
right, man. Well, I think it's time to sign off. We've been
Yeah,
bullshitting enough.
Yep.
Well, once again, I'm Dewayne.
I'm Andrew.
This has been the Beer Bourbon Breakfast Podcast.
Yeah.